Hello, I'm Lala,
I'm Tanetta.
and we're going to be discussing the Sisters in the System organization project. Um, I am the owner, co founder of this organization, and this is my best friend. And so today, our topic of discussion, what we're going to be discussing is I'm going to tell you a little bit about the reason for me starting this project and starting this organization. Um, I grew up in the system as a child, so I experienced a childhood of being in the system. I know how, as a child and even as an adult, how the system and how it what follows you,
Right.
because you're an older woman and
I was in the system for 14 years, so I entered into the state of Michigan system when I was 2.5. My brother was 1.
okay, and I entered into the system when I was about 8. My mother was killed, and so I didn't have no other family to take me in, so that left me with the foster family. Um, so I know all about being in the system. I even went through a situation where my children were in the system. Um, Fought for 3 years. I mean, they're back home now. Praise God for that. But the reason for Sisters in the System is to allow women, mothers, and our sisters a second chance at motherhood. Now, I want to be able to offer the help that I didn't have when I was battling the system. So, my organization is going to be here to provide you women with the support, stabilization, food, resources, counseling,
Yes.
and not just that, but also spiritual help. And that's where my best friend comes in at, okay? Because she's a spiritual counselor slash minister. So, with her dealing with the system and being who she is now is very inspiring, very, very inspiring. I totally look up to that. Two different generations, and it also shows you how the system still has this continuous pattern. So hopefully, Sisters in the System can help you women out there who are fighting and it's hard and you don't have the support that you need. We are here to support you hand in hand in all grace of the Lord. Sisters in the System, we are here for you. Okay? We are here. You can always look me up. My email address is sisters, SISTAZINTHESYSTEM @gmail.com. If you have any questions and you need somebody to talk to, you can also contact me by telephone at 248-915-7484. Again, ladies, 248-915-7484. If you need any help with resources and you need somebody to even talk to, we are not here to judge. We are here to support you, and we're going to do whatever it is that we have to do and stick together as strong individual women and fight for our children so they can avoid the system, because the system can mentally mess you up for the rest of your life, and it's going to follow you for the rest of your life. So we're here to teach you how to deal with them for the rest of your life.
My perspective on being in the system, as far as it following you, it seems like once your name is in the system, is always in the system. So once you begin to have children of your own or family members or whatever you can say, the main purpose of this is to close those revolving doors. We're not knocking the system because some people need it, but everybody don't. And what they need to look at is everybody that work for the system is not doing it for the family's sake. And that's the real purpose of us. We want to reunite families, help those mothers with those resources, because I know when my mother was going through it back in the 70s, there were no resources, no one to talk to, no one to turn to, no support system. So a lot of people is out here with maybe deceased parents or families that they astray from, you know. So we want you guys to have a safe haven to where you know it's a support system out there. Now understand, it's work that we all got to do. In order for us to do it, we all got to be truthful. You got to come and you have to be truthful. So the main goal is to reunite families, get our mothers to where they're sustaining life, educational wise, far as housing, clothing. We want you to be able to feel like I'm able to do this. I'm ready to do this. I can do this. And we're going to be that system that help you do this. So it's work to be done. But if all of us come together, it's nothing that we can't do together.
And that's definitely true. And again, that's where this organization starts with Sisters in the System. It starts with sticking together. You know, that's the first thing we want to do. We want to stick together. You know, stop downing each other so much. Stop doubting each other so much, because there's so much that we can accomplish in life that we don't even realize. You know, I went from being in the system in foster care, no mother, no father, no grandmother. It was just me and my little brother in a foster family. And here it is. I went from having absolutely nothing, not even the dirt at the bottom of my shoes, to becoming a mother and being grateful to be a mother. And not only that, but it made me work harder, and it made me force myself to become better. And how I ended up becoming better, and what made me want to help people and know that that is what God has placed me here to do, and knowing that this is God's work and this is what he wants me to do, and it's to help people. And how I knew that is when I went from working at regular basic Coney Islands and restaurant jobs to becoming a nurse. So caring for the elderly,
yes,
we we can both relate to that, you know, because, you know, the elderly is like babies all over again, you know. So you have to have the compassion, you have to have the patience, and you have to have the motivation.
And you also have to take the life lessons that you learn. We all make mistakes. When we become parents, we do not have a book. They don't come with a manual.
Mm-mm.
So we learn life through living life. That's the only way I could put it. We learn life through living life. So like we said, we're not here to judge anybody. Everybody is welcome. If you have any resources you would like to share with us, we welcome them.
Also, another project is a lot of children are being removed from their mothers because of stability. Okay? That's a big word. Everybody knows. But if Detroit, with all these vacant houses that's out here, maybe you can allow our organizations to get it and fix it up and allow women stability so they won't lose their children to the system, you know?
Mayor Duggan, hi!
We love you, Mayor Duggan.
Mayor Duggan.
I got a picture with my baby father who he's passed away. He passed away in 2016. But I still have your picture with you and him. I might have to put it on my Sisters in the Hood, Sisters in the System. But yeah, so me going through the system when I was going to court a lot, I mean, it would be hours and hours and hours that's put on these judges to where cases are being postponed
Rush.
because it's so many people dealing with the system, even men and women. I mean, men too.
Yeah.
You know, they do it. They do too. But you know, unfortunately, right now this program is for our women. But a lot of the reasons that I was hearing as I was going to court for my own children, a lot of kids were being taken away from their mothers because of stability. It's sad, you know, because there's not a lot of funding to help a lot of women to maintain stability. So that's another project that I want to be here to support and offer resources to women out here, because what we want to do is help you and train you and motivate you and direct you, so that way you can form your form of stability so you won't have to deal with the system. And the way we're going to offer resources with that is we know places, we know people who you can contact where you can maintain, not just for instance Walmart or anything like that, but we're here to offer you a career. Prime example, there's a lot of help that's needed in these nursing homes with these elderly people.
Yes.
So the healthcare system is the best career that a lot of us mothers, we are already care for our children. So it's an instinct for us. You see where I'm getting at this? It's an instinct for us as women taking care of children. So the healthcare facility and the healthcare system is a great career for you to start you off. And we want to be here to provide that resource and any form of help. If you need help with your classes, or if you need help with us guiding you, or maybe even showing you forms of, we are licensed nurses, so we would be able to direct you and even show you everything you're going to need to know to be able to enter to the healthcare system, because a lot of healthcare CNAs, LPNs, RNs, doctors, we need you, especially during this pandemic. We definitely need you, you know. So us as mothers and automatically having those type of helping hands because we are mothers, that's something that we would like to encourage you to do. That's another point of Sisters in the System. So
we want you to build a foundation on education. Education is the key to everything, becoming knowledgeable in areas, becoming wiser in your life. Education can take you a long way. I also am a certified nursing assistant, patient care tech. I also studied in the field of EMT mortuary. So it's no boundary of where you can go with your education. You have to be willing to do it. But at the same time, the foundation that you lie down will build a bigger and a stronger foundation that will give you stability in your life. We're not going to say it's going to be a walk in the park. No, nothing is easy.
No, at all.
Like they say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. He never said ain't no weapon go form, but it says it's not go prosper. So always take that with you. But being a senior is one of the greatest jobs that I had, okay? And the reason why I say that, because it's so many levels to that. You learn so many skills. You don't just have to work in a nursing home. You can go to like Kingswood, mental health facility. You can go work for the hospitals, you know, in-home care. You can start your own business. It's many avenues. You just have to want it. It's better than, I would say, working at a fast food restaurant. I'm not putting it down. I never worked one. I never worked at a fast food restaurant. I started doing healthcare when I was 19. Actually, I started before that. I took it as a vocational class when I was 17. So it was something that I was interested in. And the reason why I was because my paternal great grandmother, we had to take care of her after I think I was about 13, 14 when we started taking care of her. So the love of people is what pulled me in that field. And if you have a love for people, that is the best field to become a person
Yes.
that can share love, that can help other people. And plus, it pays well. It pays well. So it's up to you. And you, like I say, you don't have to stop there. But what we want you to do is to get educated. And education goes a long way. It doesn't stop. I had someone say, when do you stop learning? You don't.
Never.
Until you die.
Never.
And we don't know. After then, you might still be learning. Because we ain't never walked the other side, thank God. But put in your mind that in order for me to walk in life and to move forward, I have to have some type of foundation, and my foundation is going to be my education. And from my education, I'm going to keep building on more education. So what I'm saying, if you sitting at home and you're not doing anything, this is the time to go get educated. Go get educated, go get you a career, and do what you need to do to have stability.
Yes, indeed. And another thing that I want to discuss is how a lot of women lose their children because they don't provide. A lot of kids are in the system because mothers are not able to provide.
Or they don't know how.
Some of them don't know how. And it I can say it's not an easy thing being a mother. You know, for a mother to even give birth to a child, it's not an easy walk in the park. And I think all mothers who have gave birth to a child know what I mean about that. But the purpose of this Sisters in the System is to be here to support you women 100%. But we also need support as well. So we need the state to help. This is a great organization for these women. It'll avoid a lot of children being in the system or growing up in the system. But at the same time, as you can see, with both of us being in the system, it made us stronger, because we had to support one another, and it made us stronger. As you can see, she went from being in the system to being a mortician. I went to being a nurse, something I would have never thought. But being in the system, it causes a lot of mental breakage in your life, but it also makes you stronger. But we want to avoid a lot of families from being torn apart. So we want to give these women a second chance again at motherhood. I think we deserve that. Again, it's so many properties, it's so many abandoned homes out here.
Yes.
Won't you fill it up with some of these families that are lacking on resources? And look at how many people are being evicted and stuff like that. We have so many homes in the city of Detroit that are just sitting there.
That can be rehab.
It can be places for veterans. And come on. Let's Sisters in the System. Let's help them. Let's provide these women with stability. Let's provide them with stability. If we can't do anything else, the least we can do is provide these families with stability, with opportunities and resources to allow them to be able to provide for their children and avoid the system,
And we gotta face it that minimum wage is not taking care of no one. So
well, now it's not minimum wage; it's the unemployment.
minimum wage is not taking care of nobody.
I mean,
So
you know, and then some people are on a straight income because some people get disability and things like that. And I mean, you can't expect a 1 month check to provide for everything. You know,
it's not taking care of nobody.
Yeah. So we need people like myself and my best friend to come out here with sisters in the system to offer our helping hand and our resources. I also have another person that I want to give a shout out to, and she's another sister in the system. And she has her own organization as well, and it's called Brightmore Alliances. And she is a food donor, you know, for people, you know, a lot of people don't have food stamps.
Yes.
And it's a lot of people that's hungry,
Yes.
you know, man, female. It's just not for sisters in the system. I mean, anybody, you know. She passes out food for the Forgotten Harvest. So you guys might want to take a good look at that. She will probably be up there. I think she said the 22nd or the 23rd at the Gumpers Elementary Middle School.
Okay.
And she's going to be passing out food that she donates. And she's a black woman herself. And yeah, we're going to be working together soon too. But her name is Trina, and she has an organization, and it's called Brightmore Alliances. And I give a big shout out, and I look up to you too, because I'm a first time business owner into this organization, but I'm very motivated, and I believe that this is going to be a great start. And it's not just going to help the sisters in the system, but it's going to help our community. You know, we need some help in the communities. You know,
we gotta get united. Everybody needs to be united. We all need to help. We all are in this together.
Okay, so I got a question from my friend. I asked her, so how did the system work back in the 70s? Because I don't have a clue about the 70s. I just want to see what has changed from the system between the 70s and past the millennium.
Well, back in the 70s, like I said, it was lack of resource. You can actually say that they forget about some of the families. Me and my brother was lost in the system. That's what they told us. We were lost in the system for 14 years. And the reason why we were lost, because we was with our paternal family, my father's sister. That's who took care of us and raised us. So they figured because we were with family, they didn't have to do their job. Which, that don't fly. That's not professional. That's not how I work. Because when you have kids in the system, your main goal is to be trying to work with the mother and the father to get the
reunification.
Right. And at that time, they didn't have the resources, like I said, to help my mother. My father was incarcerated, so it was just my mom. She didn't have a support system that she was supposed to have. But God was on me and my brother's side because we were able to still be in our family with my father's sister, and was able to, when we grew up, we knew where we belonged. So we wasn't adopted off, or we wasn't living with strangers, which was good in some aspect. In other aspects, you have the good and the bad. But we're like, it was really hard because no child wants to be astray from their father or their mother. So
yeah.
And what that does to a child that's been through the system, it leaves us, I want to say, we have lack of trust.
Yeah.
We have lack of trust. We always wonder if people really love us for who we are. It leaves a scar, a mental scar, on the children and the parents. Because my mom, she went through a lot. Because the system just took us and didn't help her like they could have. to reunite all of us together. So the system back there in 73, I would say they needed to regroup. And to this day, they still need to regroup because it seemed like they still working on the same system that they was working on back in the 70s. I'm not knocking y'all down. I'm just going by my experience.
Well, that's facts. Well, that's facts because as I sit here and I listen to your story about the 70s and how the 70s is, now I dealt with the system currently 2017 through 2020, and it sounds exactly the same. It's almost like, okay, so there are families that's in very tremendous need of CPS. I'm not doubting it. My main problem with CPS is I think that they need to do better investigations and stop going off of a phone call from a relative or a friend or somebody who is into it with this person at this time, and at this time I want to use something to hurt this person, and the only way to hurt this person is by using their what? Their children.
False allegations is what it's called, and I feel like they should be charged for false allegations because you're actually tearing down a foundation that a woman is trying to build. You have a lot of women that gave birth that really love their children. And like she said, a lot of times it be people own family that call on them. That I never understood because as a family member and you see something is wrong, you're supposed to help your family member redirect that situation. Help them. Like we said, is no manuals given at the hospital when you go home and become a mama. No manuals. We don't get no blueprint or anything. We go, and if you have not been taught to care for somebody, to nurture them, then you're learning. You're learning. And it's sad to say it's all a learning process. But during the process, we still need that support.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Okay, so, do you think that they're quicker to take the black kids than they are to take the white kids?
Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it alone. Yes. Yes, because they get one phone call. They don't investigate. Well, I'm not going to say all of them. You have some. I put it like this. It's dependent on the social worker that come out.
Yeah, because most of these social workers have their own personal lives.
Right.
And sometimes they might not be having a good day and they probably just feel like, oh, just take them, instead of actually doing their jobs. They're human just like us. We have to remember that CPS is not a robot. CPS are human people like ourselves. CPS has their own personal problems like everybody in this world. I mean, look at the president. I mean, come on now. Everybody in this world has problems. Everybody needs some sort of support. Is there enough support in the world is the question. Is there enough support in the world? Now, I have seen in court with my own two eyes where I have seen a white family where the mother was a addict,
okay.
And then I see a black family, and the reason her kids were removed was because she didn't have proper housing. So,
wait a minute. Proper housing, I thought they had preventative service. Matter of fact, I know they got preventative service because my sister used to call on herself. And with preventative services, they would give you everything that you need. So like I said, again, it's all about who come to your house and if they willing to help you. Now, you also got some CPS workers that don't have any children.
Exactly.
That's another don't know. Because if you don't have any children, you don't understand what a mother is dealing with daily, especially with teenagers.
Yeah. That's definitely. But like I was saying, you had a mother in there that was a drug addict, and she looked like she wasn't off of drugs when she was to court, and then you have an African American girl in there. And it was stability. It was housing. And it was like the courts were quick to let the white girl who has a drug problem child go back home in a snap of a finger, while the black girls in there explaining where I'm gonna move in with my mother, and my mother is gonna help me with the children, but still that wasn't good enough housing.
Wow, she had a support system.
So, again, that's where Sisters in the System, that's where we coming in at, because we need to teach our women, our mothers, and our sisters their rights.
How to advocate for their self.
And you can do it without being ratchet.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So let's cause see, a lot of the times it's not what you say. I had to learn this, and I'm still learning it to this day. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not how you look, but it's your demeanor.
Yes, it is. It goes on. It's a first impression.
Yes.
Even though people shouldn't go on first impressions, why not change it? Let's go on last impressions.
Yeah, because you know what? I was watching what they say, how it really happened, and a lot of them guys on there don't look like they'll kill a fly. You know, so like what's his name, Bundy? That man didn't look like he'd kill nobody, did he? But he was a murderer, wasn't he?
Ooh.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Sisters in the System. This was our first topic. We got a lot out, and we still have a lot more to go, because our next topic of discussion will be about if you are dealing with the system currently or have in the past, and you are dealing with physical abuse, right? And they try, because you know, when you deal with the system, you don't only get charged with child protective service or child abuse, but it's two different forms of cases and charges that you actually get. But you women will learn that on the next episode when we come back to the table and talk about the topic of discussions. And the topic of discussions will be how to be careful on what charges that you accept. Okay? Learn your rights. So, we're going to teach you on the next subject of Sisters in the System on how you are not only charged with child abuse, but you have a civil, and then you have a what they called you have a civil case, and then you have a criminal. So it's civil and it's criminal. Wow. Civil and criminal. So when you're being put in the system for child abuse and things of that nature, you're not just getting civilly charged, but you're getting criminally charged. But that'll be on our next topic of discussion on Sisters in the System. You got anything else to say, sister?
I want y'all to be blessed. Keep breathing. And know God is in control of everything.
Everything. And I guess that's the end on our what? Sisters in the System.